There was a single chair positioned in front of a blank screen that took up almost an entire wall. A man was sat in it, naked. His head, face, chest, arms, legs and groin were totally bald, giving him the appearance of a slightly grotesque, oversized baby. From the way he was sitting, it was also impossible to see his penis, giving him a strange, androgynous quality that his distended stomach, swollen breasts and delicate bone structure did nothing to dispel. He pressed the small remote balancing on his lap and the screen flickered on. Now an image appeared, a man, terrified, his arms pressed up flat against a doorframe. Then someone else stepped into the picture, a hammer in one hand and two nails in the other. The nail went through his wrist, the metal stretching his median nerve across its blunt tip like the strings over the bridge of a violin, his thumbnail drawing blood where the reflex had caused it to embed itself into his palm. He screamed, the saliva dribbling down his chin, then fainted. Reaching for the remote, the viewer turned the volume up. They waited until he regained consciousness and then hammered in the second nail. He shrieked again, his body momentarily rigid with pain, hands clenched into white talons before sagging forward as they released him and let his wrist take his weight. The camera never left his face, silent tears running down his cheek, a sudden nosebleed drawing a vivid line across his upper lip and chin. His tortured breathing echoed through the room, a steady metronome that marked each few passing seconds with unfeeling regularity, until slowly, inevitably, the gap between each rasping breath grew. For a few seconds it seemed as if time itself was slowing, his lungs clawing for air, his lips thin and blue, each breath shallower than the last until little more than a whisper remained. Then he was still. Taking a sip of water and freeing his penis so it lay across his stomach where he could touch it, the man settled down to watch the film again.
Hello and welcome to Crime Writers. I'm Rachel Harvey-Jones and in the studio with me today is James Twining. Born in London, James spent most of his childhood in France, but when returning, James endured a variety of different jobs over the years before he turned to writing. The Double Eagle, the first of his novels to feature art thief Tom Kirk, was published in 2005 and has sold over 160,000 copies in the UK alone and been translated into nearly 20 languages. Its sequel, The Black Sun, was published in April 2006 and has been an international bestseller. The third Tom Kirk novel, the Gilded Seal, will be published in October 2007. That's what we'll be talking about today. So, what turned James to a life of crime? Let's find out. James, it's lovely to have you in the studio. I'm having a problem talking today, as you can see, so it's a good job I'm not writing. First of all, we're talking about the Gilded Seal now. Obviously, this is one of a series. You've got the Double Eagle, you've got the Black Sun as well, but this is what we'll be talking about today. So, first of all, before we delve into the book, and you give us a sneak preview of what it's actually about, tell me, first of all, how you became interested in writing, and in particular, crime writing.
Crime pays. I've been told. Well, I think it's.
I think we might be on the wrong side.
Might be on the wrong side. Yes. I guess writing was never something I'd really ever wanted to do. In a way, it was a bit like being a film star or a Formula One driver. It was one of those sort of careers that
playing for Arsenal.
Or playing for Arsenal. One of those careers that other people seem to have. But really, I guess it came to me that I got this character into my head, this art thief character, Tom Kirk. And the more I tried to shut him away, the louder he seemed to shout that he wanted to get out. And in the end, I guess I gave in, found a good story to put him into, and that's how I really got started. It started more as something to do than as anything serious.
And I know you spent a brief time with your career in investment banking, and in fact, you were a young British entrepreneur, according to the New Statesman magazine. I mean, how did it seems such a career, you know, such a drastic move from investment banking, which it's quite exciting, I'm guessing.
We're not so exciting when you're in there. I mean, I think I guess it is something very different. But writing a book is pretty much like starting a company, because you have an idea, you have a passion, you have no idea whether you're going to be successful or not, but that takes you through. And so a lot of the time that I first started writing, I think I drew quite a lot of strength and comfort from what I'd done before, because it gave me the belief that if I really believed in myself and went for it, then I'd have a good chance of being successful.
Where did the idea come about? Because I know that a lot of these books are actually based on true events, aren't they? So where did sort of Tom Kirk come from? Your imagination, or? I
think, yeah, it's sort of, I mean, in a way, Tom Kirk is a bit of an archetype, the Robin Hood, the Dick Turpin thief, but thief with a good heart, who's perhaps been thrown into difficult circumstances against his will. But also for me, it was a bit of a fantasy figure, an escape figure. When I was growing up, people would ask me what I wanted to do when I was an adult, and I would always jokingly say I'd like to be an art thief. And I was sort of half joking, because part of me was really drawn to that sort of glamorous image, at least, of abseiling down buildings and breaking into safes. And so in a way, when I got to write about Tom, it was me bringing to life this fantasy figure.
Okay, so briefly, give us a synopsis of The Gilded Seal. I unfortunately haven't read it as yet, but this is definitely coming home with me tonight, I can tell you that. Obviously Tom has changed throughout the series of novels, but give us a little synopsis about what this is actually about.
Well, the underlying story here was inspired by the Mona Lisa. So the theft of the Mona Lisa in 1911 was one of the greatest thefts ever perpetrated, and I started looking at this because I thought it would be interesting to build a story around it. And indeed I found an incredible story of fraud and intrigue, but I also discovered when I was researching the book that Napoleon actually owned the Mona Lisa for 6 years. He took her out of the Louvre and hung her over his bed. And I guess the premise behind the book that came to me as I was doing this was, well, what if he never actually put it back? What if the one that's been there all this time was actually a fake that he substituted? And so without giving too much away, the story of The Gilded Seal is really a journey of discovery into a crime committed 200 years ago, but which is very much real and happening today.
I'm so taking this home with me. Actually, you'll probably be quite grateful that I haven't read it, because I tend to give away the entire story in the 8 minutes that we're here. So now, can we expect a fourth novel within the series? Is Tom going ahead?
Yeah, there is a fourth novel. Apart from anything, I've got a contract to deliver a fourth one. But no, I've got sort of the inkling of a story as well, and very much looking forward to writing it.
Well, we're very excited to have you back and talk about that one. May I ask you to complete our ritual here on Crime Writers, which is to sign our book. And we've been talking to James Twining today. We've been looking at The Gilded Seal. Now, I haven't read it yet, so I'm very excited. It's a thrill to interview so many crime writers here on Legal TV. But James, thank you very much for that. We look forward to, and I'm going to ask you to promise to come back to us very soon. Thousands of people have witnessed that, you realise that. Once again, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that's another book closed here on Crime Writers. But until next time, watch out for some more great authors and some more great books. Until next time, bye-bye for now.